Shalom, Yasharallah. This your brother Dawudah, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak Wadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of great millstone that taught us this truth that rule well. And citation and much love for you, Akim, pushing this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So I want to jump into this here article, which is, dealing with this here Supreme Court ruling and everything else like that. But nevertheless, it's not quite the lesson I wanted to get into it, concerning this here thing, and the outcry and, the judgment that's going to come behind all of these things, man. All right. Because, like these people that's voicing their opinions about it and how they really feel, it's ultimately, just touching on that subject for a little bit. A lot of these different things, these women are going to get these judgments for, just like how you have, these women that so-called say that they hate all men. All right. They don't want, they talking bad about the so-called black man and things like that, and ultimately, like how the scriptures say, in Isaiah 4:1 about the 7 women coming to one man, a man shall be a hiding place and all these things, those women are going to come to regret those words they say in that time, but that's a different subject, a different video for a different time. But going into this, all right, I want to read about, a little bit of the outcry and the uproars of these things and how this is setting this here nation up for, more of a nation divided and more of how you say sedition among men and not, not to say respecting, but not, you think about the January 6th thing and how people were in uproar over those things, man. How much more for this here situation you have going on, where you have, these women that are feeling this here type of way. And when it comes times to, when elections come around, all they need to do is, you have one side that's saying, hey, if we lose this, we're going to, riot. Then you have another side to say, if we lose that, we're going to riot. So what is the end game goal for that going to be? Either way, it's going to be a lose-lose situation. So let's read this. It says the unhinged reaction to the U.S. Supreme Court abortion ruling has gone too far. And really, a lot of these things is like, for more or less the uneducated of like how a lot of these things go, because again, you hear the narrative of what some people are saying versus what is really going on. All right. It says U.S. liberals respond to the striking down of Roe versus Wade has moved from outrage to madness and borderline criminality. And again, as we'll read through this and you hear a lot of these cries that these people are saying out there, it's really showing, like I said, their true colors and things like that. All right. It's not even addressing what was really going on in the law, but really just showing forth what their internal intentions are. There's just a bunch of wicked ass women that just basically want to off their own children. All right. And, there's a whole demonic spirit behind that. All right. So it says, since the U.S. Supreme Court struck down Roe versus Wade, the hysteria coming from the left has been in full force with extreme reactions that have taken pro-choice movement to pro-abortion cringe. All right, it says, frustratingly, there has been a lot of misunderstanding as well as downright ignorance about what the Supreme Court decision means in the first place. The court did not ban abortion, so many Twitter keyboard warriors seem to think. All right. And so, that's the first step. They didn't ban the abortions. They're pretty much giving the, it was, how do I say beforehand, federally, legally backed by, the government, meaning that all states, had to so-called perform these things. And now they're just giving the power to the states to say whether or not they was going to legalize it or, what they were going to do with it. Basically, it's up to the states. All right. Just like, for instance, with the marijuana situation that's going on. All right. That's still federally illegal. All right. But some states are deciding to legalize it, whereas the federal government seems to be just turning a blind eye to it, But at any point in time, the federal government can always come in and swoop down and charge you, with those crimes. All right. Now, this would be almost the same thing, but in reverse. All right. Whereas the federal court is, not quote unquote putting their hands into it. All right, and leaving it up to the states. All right. So, you could be in one state where they say, hey, abortions are legal. And the next state say abortions are illegal. All right. But, you have all these different people, like I said, with these arguments. Oh, what if they can't afford to go and travel and go do this? I'm like, listen, these hot girls and these hot girl summers is traveling to Dubai, traveling to the Bahamas, traveling all over the place to go do this, and that for their little vacations. If they really wanted to travel, to the next state over, they could. So all these different narratives and these excuses about these things, when it all boils down to, is just the fact that they want to just basically off their children. Shows you the type of demonic spirit is inside of these damn women. All right. But it says the court did not ban abortion as so many Twitter keyboard warriors seem to think, they have no authority to do so. They're not legislators. What the justices did was determine that the previous precedent for Roe versus Wade was not constitutional, or rather that the abortion is not explicitly guaranteed by the Constitution, which it isn't. Incidentally, our Constitution does grant the right to bear arms quite explicitly, yet many on the left uh, want that to go ignored, go figure. So like how you say in the Constitution, they say you have a right to bear arms. All right. They're not, the Constitution doesn't say you have a right to abortion. All right. So, there's a lot of different things that's like not in the Constitution. You know what I'm saying? It don't mean that it's it's banned or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They don't tell you in the Constitution you have a right to drive a vehicle or anything else like that. Don't mean it's illegal. All right. So they're just saying that basically the Constitution didn't have a how do I say, rulership over saying whether or not you had a right to drive or not. You see what I'm saying? But nevertheless, it says, now if you want abortion legal in your state, voice your opinion at your elected representatives. Codify it into law at the state level. That's how we the people are meant to govern ourselves in America. So again, going back to these people that don't know what the hell going on, they rather be all in uprage and uproars. But a lot of these things are just backed by the propaganda and the media and things like that. Again, which is the deeper thing that's going on behind this is setting these people up for uproar, because again, instead of them going out here and tearing down things and rioting and protesting, again, all they would have to go and do, which I don't believe in all this voting and everything else like that, but on your local or your state level of voting and things like that, you know what I'm saying? That's all that they would have to do. All right, well, if y'all all feel so strongly about this, you know what I'm saying, if the narrative was all these women that's protesting at these things, right? Let's just say all the women in America and everybody in America agreed on these things, but we had the same Supreme Court overturn. All they would simply have to go and do is everybody in America would have to just go on a local level and vote. And then throughout the whole U.S. and every state, it would be right back to where it was at beforehand. You know what I'm saying? But, hey, they don't have the mindset like that. But this just goes to show forth that these are just, riotous demons. All right. It says, for all the cries about attacks on our democracy, I'm hearing a lot of calls for federal overreach, very antithesis of democracy. The founders of the United States knew the importance of the state and local versus federal government when it comes to the laws and its regulations, and they set up the American system to resist federal overreach at every level of government. This is critical because America is a very large, diverse nation. Generally, what we the people want in the Bible Belt, want or need in the Bible Belt, may not be what we the people want in New York and California, and vice versa. We live very different lives and don't share all the same worldviews. This is only increased with time and migration. We're on the brink of another civil war, and this is the point I wanted to get at, all right? Because this is what, with a lot of these different things that you have going on in America, with these different decisions that you have going on in America, is creating a polarized America, whether it be on the gun rights, taking away guns. You got some people, with these different mass shootings they're dealing with their emotions. We got to save our children. We got to get rid of the guns. Then you got people saying, hell no, we need our guns just in case the government want to come down on us. I need my guns to be able to protect me from these criminals out here. So you have these people at each other's throats. Now you have these, the men and the women, these basically they just demons. All right, because ultimately what they want to get at, which we'll read further on down here, is the people that just want to off their babies. And that's all, and a lot of these things, it's like, oh, well, and they're trying to argue the fact, oh, they're not using this for contraceptives, and which really they are. All right, a lot of these women, this is the new thing. Everybody going out there raw dogging it nowadays. And I'm more like, y'all ain't catching some shit, but nevertheless, they out here, raw dogging it and then going to go get them an abortion the next day, man. All right, but hey, it says, we're on the brink of another civil war culturally, and the left unhinged reactions to the Supreme Court decision has driven another wedge between us, like I was just saying. This makes upholding our Constitution and respecting our court more important than ever. At least we descend into chaos and society collapse. That's exactly where we're headed, all right? Sedition among men and invading one another, all right? Yes, it may be hard to hear, but even if you are unhappy about the court's ruling, you must accept the outcome. Personally, I was pro-choice until I witnessed the response by feminists and other protesters at demonstrations across the country, along with emotional reactions by celebrities and a call to burn it down and attack our courts justices at their homes. All right, and this is the true thing that you're seeing going on with all these things, man. All right, you have a term that they're using, like, let's say, for instance, the Black Lives Matter, they have a term like that to where on the surface level, it seems like, if you're a so-called black person and you're not with the Black Lives Matter movement, it's something wrong with you because it say it in the title, Black Lives Matter. We supporting black people. But in reality, when you really look into it, that is not what they talking about. That's not what they support. And they just use this here name as a forefront to what what they're so-called about. The same thing with a lot of these other little, the witchcraft that they use, Planned Parenthood and everything else like that. In fact, they're not planning on how to be a parent. They're planning on how not to be a parent. All right. But this is the same thing that they have going on over here. It says, personally, I was pro-choice until I witnessed the response by feminists and other there's another one, feminists. They're not for, equal rights for females and everything else like that. They want to be supreme. All right. And other protesters at demonstrations across the country, along with emotional reactions by celebrities and the calls to burn it down and attacks on the court justices at their homes. The violence, the rage, the downright insanity of these people remind me that they are generally the same people who cared not one bit for my bodily autonomy when I refused to take the jibber jab or wear a mask. Sorry, angry Karen with the blue hair, but you don't get to scream "my body, my choice" at me anymore. You lost that argument over a year ago when you didn't respect my bodily autonomy. All right, and it's going back into these hypocrites. Like I said, they don't even know what the hell they're talking about. They just going down and following causes, whatever they're being led by. Because again, if that was the case, when the little jump shot scenario was out there, they would be the same way. Well, it's my body, my choice. If these women can scream "my body, my choice," they want to be quote unquote feminists and equal to men. All right. How come these men didn't have the right to choose what was going to get put into their body at that point in time? Oh, it's for the better for all of us and this and that. Well, wait a minute. What about this scenario? But again, we're not going to fall down that path because we know this is used to divide, the people. It says, I didn't expect much other than absurdity when it comes from Hollywood. So it's not worth it to get into the insanity coming from celebrities on the topic. We've all seen the social media posts. It says they're not only out of touch with reality, but often don't even have their high school diplomas. So we really can't expect them to understand the constitutional bounds of federal authority. But I do expect my fellow Americans to grasp basic civics and to behave sanely. They seem less and less capable of doing that. And that's the decay of this society, man. All right. You be coming into where these damn demons is just running amok, man. It's just, when you have, the lack of, ultimately in a higher sense, the law, statutes, commandments, right? But if you don't have, the Lord, but when you don't have law, statutes, commandments, on a local or governmental body state, all right, what is your society going to look like? If there's no laws, all right, what do you have? You have a lawlessness. All right, what if you was riding down the street in your local, in your downtown neighborhood? There was no stop signs, there was no red lights, there was no merger signs, no yield signs, no traffic lines in the road, the white lines, the yellow lines, and things like that. No sidewalks, no crossings, nothing like that. What would traffic look like? You think traffic is bad now? Imagine going through your downtown area with no red lights, no stop signs, no lines to cross, and everything else like that. No lanes to be in, man. People would be all over the place. You would have what? Utter chaos, man. All right, and this is what they're creating here. All right, it says calling on our highest courts to be abolished is not sane or normal. All right, going back to a lawless place. Writing articles claiming that killing is okay is not normal. All right, and that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. All right, it says throwing bloody dolls down the street is not sane or normal. Dragging your two innocent kids to a protest with a sign that says "Don't force this on anyone" is completely demented. All right, and so again, like I said, this is again, this is a whole other topic for a whole other day, but just touching on it real quick. These are signs of straight up demons, man. What they really out here saying. This is what their innermost thoughts are right here, man. All right, these are the people that we're really dealing with at this here point in time. These people that so-called arguing for these things. Just like I said, when you deal with the so-called Black Lives Matter movement or the feminist movement, it's not what they saying on the surface level, but what they really believe on the inside, man. All right, that they can just basically, in this case, they can just go around and live lawlessness and not have any consequences for anything. And they don't want the quote unquote generations to proceed after them. They want it all to end with them. All right, because hey, when you go into a further look into all these things, especially these agendas that they're pushing, it all ends with what? Population reduction. All right, and that's coming from on high, because look at what they're doing anyway from top down. But now they just program the minds of the people to do their job for them. All right, and again, like I said, I don't want to get too far into this subject because, like I said, this is a different video for a different day. But real quick, I'll say this. You know how Esau beforehand was killing off Jake, doing, all this damage to Jake beforehand, but he's programmed Jake to do his work for him. All right. He's programmed the Jake woman to sit there and split up the families and separate the families, with their divorce courts and things like that. So he don't have to go to the plantation and separate the families no more. All right. He didn't raise up the Jake males to sit out there and kill their own brother and things like that. So he don't got to go over there and lynch him and kill him no more, man. He's got Jake programmed to do all these things, man. All right. So, hey, and when it comes to population reduction, he don't really got to go out there. He can stand back with his hands all clean and say, hey, man, I didn't off anybody. Y'all offed yourselves, man. Y'all laying man with man and woman with woman. Y'all ain't procreating. You got these women that's out here just putting their babies down the damn meat grinder and things like that. Hey, they not, those babies ain't going nowhere. So, hey, man, this is what, the society is going to. Now you have the people, all right, whose mindset is pushing forth for these things. But again, like I said, that's a whole nother video for another topic. But that judgment is going to come down on you people, man. All right. But just going back into these uproars and these protests, this is what they're protesting for, man. All right. It says thriving societies don't behave that way. Thriving societies value life and encourage in civil discourse. Healthy, thriving societies also value children, at least on a fundamental level. So like I was saying, a thriving society versus what? One that's deteriorating, right? If you have a deteriorating society, you have what? Ultimately population reduction, all right? Nobody is forcing anyone to have children here, despite what the righteous fuming Twitter Karens screech. No one is coming for women with handmaids costumes and warrant to seize all birth control, but we need to face the realities of abortion head on. Abortion is not simply a woman's right to choose. It's more than that. Abortion has consequences, just as bearing children has consequences. Having millions of women and men, for that matter, forgotten that we are all talking about extinguishing human life, because even the most hardcore feminists must surely gasp that when a woman undergoes an abortion, a life is ended. Even if you see a fetus is less important. Let me see, because I don't want to make this too long. But nevertheless, yeah, we're not going to read no more of that because they just get into a little more rhetoric because I don't want to make this video too long. But, hey, the point is, you seen these people with the uproars and these riots that they got going on. But what are they really saying at the end all be all, man? This is going into a setup of a collapse of society, man. All right, if they're arguing over these things now, wait till they put, they just filled up a bucket of fuel. Wait till they throw the match into it, man. All right. You think that the match has been thrown into it now already, but wait until, it comes to election times. And then you have a politician that's going to protest to, like, you already got the Democrats already saying, look, this was a sad day for America and everything else like that. We're going to have to do what we got to do. But, we don't have enough seats in the House to do all these things, man. We need you guys to come out and vote to overturn these things, man. And if you already got a clash now, wait till you get to the election time, man. All right, because you're going to have, the people that's wanting Biden out and the likes of Trump back in. And if Trump don't get back in, you seen what happened on January 6th. They reminding you what the hell's going on, man. All right, so these people are like, well, look, if they did that over Trump, what do you think we're going to do over these women's rights and everything else like that, man? All right. 2 Ezra 9:1. It says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest part of the signs past, which I told thee before, then thou shalt understand it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. All right. And just touching on this real quick, Matthew 24. All right. And verse 21 and 22. For then shall be such great tribulation, such as was never since the beginning of the world to this time, no nor ever shall be. All right. And as we're getting further and further down the road, hey, these days are getting worse and worse and worse. We're talking about way worse things than we've ever been before, man. The mindset of these people are so far gone to the point to where you have an uproar and an outrage of, it seems like a majority of these damn Americans, because they mad they can't off their babies no more. All right. And like, how do we get to this here place, man? All right. But, hey, this is the deterioration of a society, as we were reading. Verse 22. And except those days be shortened, there shall be no flesh saved, but for the elect's sake, those days should be shortened. So we're in a time frame where, like I said, Esau has done his work so well, all right, that he's programmed the people, all right, to do his dirty work for him. Like I said, he don't got to go, like back in the olden days, he would go to the plantation and separate the families of Jake, man. But now he's got the Jake's women doing the job for them, man. All right, they go and they have these babies out of wedlock and take the kids. You see the video of the woman who the baby daddy, one of her baby daddies came to bring the kids to McDonald's and everything. She took the food and threw it down because he didn't want to provide for her other kids that was from other baby daddies and things like that. Talking about something that one kid wasn't going to get the food, that one kid can't see his dad and everything else like that. So now who is taking that child away from his father so that that child can't see his father, man? All right, it's not Esau at that point in time, man. Esau them stood back and just watched the whole chaos happen. But who programmed her mind to do all of those things, man? All right, that's not a healthy or a sane woman to say, look, if you can't bring food for my other kids, then this kid can't get no food either. Who's feeling the punishment of that? It's your kid that's being punished by that. You think you're punishing the father with that, but you're really punishing your own kid with that, man. All right, but see, she don't see these things, and it's not really about the kids. It's more about her. All right, she want to be able to say, see, look, I still got this old simple ass nigga taking care of me and all my kids, even though they ain't all mine. But if he can't do that, then shit, he don't deserve to be around me. So you see what's going on here? Esau ain't the one that's on a plantation snatching us up from our wives and our children and things like that. Nowadays, it's our own women. All right, now it's the ones that we lay down with and have children with, man. All right, so this is not a great time for you to be sitting out here getting with any of these damn women, or let alone having children with their ass, man. And just on a side note, really the whole situation with this overturning the court system, I don't even know why you so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native American women is out there protesting for this. This is an Edomite situation, man. They the ones not reproducing. That's the why they had to change these laws like that. They the ones over here, they women is leaving they men like that. They not producing Edomite babies no more. So they trying to slow down the little thing. But nevertheless, I digress on that. But you nigga women, you just so brainwashed. You just jump on any bandwagon. You following with Eve and the serpent did from the Jump Street, man. All right, Esau done created some type of situation for you, and he used his women to so-called lead this so-called way. And what y'all do? We want to be just like them. Whatever they want is good for us too. But they not the ones, like when they came out with feminism and to begin with and everything else like that, man, talking about some they was being oppressed by their husband. They wasn't being oppressed, man. They was the number 2 person in society up under their husband. All right, the so-called white man in this whole society. All right, you so-called Jake women, you didn't have no problems like that coming from your husbands and things like that. Everything was fine, but you took that apple, and now look at our communities, man. All right, it's not their communities that was destroyed. And now that the curses are going on them now. All right, and this is why they're trying to stop all these things. But beforehand, hey man, they was using all these things to deal with us, like with the abortions and things like that, man. All right, it wasn't a problem when it was just Jake women that was out there getting all these abortions. But now when these Edomite women is going out there getting abortions like this, now it becomes a problem. All right, but this wasn't for for them. It was for you. All right, just going into these things. But hey, what it say? Except those days should be shortened, there should be no flesh saved. Now think about that. As we continue to go on, if these people are sitting there arguing for these things, they keep permeating people's minds with these different decisions and these ideologies and things like that. You got more people now, like with all these little topics that keep going along. They're educating more and more people that it's never really thought about or never talked about any of these subjects. They wasn't that political. You got more and more people talking about the rights to abortions now that ain't never even thought about that in their life. A lot of them in their mind says like, nah, we ain't even really with all of these things. But now that they presented it to you and the woman's right to choice and the law and everything else like that, you got all these people, all these regular just niggas in the streets now becoming political pundits and things like that and talking about something they know this and they know that. But again, like the article said, like, well, they not banning abortions. It's like it's just up to the states to vote. But you got, niggas that's out here arguing these facts and everything else like that. But hey, I digress. Going back to 2 Ezra 9, it says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou see part of the signs past which I told thee before, then thou shalt understand it's the very same time when the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, all right, you seeing these more and more uproars of the people for various different things. And see, America's right back on a whole nother uproar, a whole nother protest over this here so-called quote unquote abortion situation. Not too long ago, you had a whole bunch of Jakes out there marching because Esau was killing their women or killing their babies, with the Black Lives Matter. Y'all keep shooting down our children. Y'all keep killing our kids. Y'all got to stop. Y'all killing us off. But now all of a sudden you got these nigga women out here marching because they want to go kill off their own babies, man. Hey, we don't want Esau to kill off our children. We want to kill our own children. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, this is how we know that they being brainwashed by these damn, these damn demons got a hold of them, basically, man. All right. For all that is made in the world had their beginning and the end, and the end is manifest. Even so, the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonders and powerful works and ending, and effects and signs. So we know that we at the end, man. No flesh would be saved if we was to continue to go on this way. Look at the mindsets of these people, man. They wouldn't know what the hell to do. If anything, they would all abort their babies anyway. All right, they would all be with the same, let me see how to word this. Steve will be with Steve. Steve and Steve ain't producing no damn children, man. All right, and Mary and Martha, they ain't producing children either. So you get the same damn outcome, man. A population decrease, man. But nevertheless, hey, just the mindset to these people, man. All right, so hey, I'm actually with it, man. Keep turning up. You know what I'm saying? Let the Most High come back and destroy you. Hey, give you what you desire anyway, man. You don't want to continue on with this here life, hey, man. Turn up, man. The Most High gonna just come and correct. He's gonna send your house out to come correct all these things, man. All right, so hey, it is what it is. Let me go from there. What I wanted to grab. This is oh, it's not Matthew 19. I wanted to grab Isaiah 19. This is Isaiah 19:2. It says, I will set the Egyptians against Egyptians, and they shall fight, every one against his brother, and every one against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. Right? Now you have, let me find this other precept I was looking for. Yeah. Let me read this real quick. Matthew 12 and 25. And Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought into desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. So now you know, like the article said, we were on the brink of a civil war, not only over the January 6th situation, the Trump versus Biden situation, not only over the gun situation, you know, confiscating the guns and everything else like that, not even over the so-called pro-choice, Roe v. Wade situation. All right, you got all kind of different things where these people are divided up amongst one another, man. So this place is set for an all-out battle royale, man, where they're just creating more and more groups and divisions amongst these people. All right, for them to just go at each other's throat. They're creating a scenario for a civil war for these people to just be at each other's throat. But hey, it says every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every house divided against itself shall not stand. Now look at the smallest levels. Look at the relationships between men and women. Most men are you know how they say MGTOW, going their own ways. All right, most women is feminists, don't need no man. They strong, independent women. All right, so what you ain't got, really couples getting together like that no more, and getting married and having children and having families and things like that. Hey, we're not in the time of that. We're in a time of great division. All right, you look at this society. The society ain't really together. This country with all these people, man. Like I just ran through a couple different lists of things where this nation is divided on. How much more in a time of war, man? When there's a time of war coming and these other nations looking at America, it's like now's the perfect time. They over there killing each other right now for the lack of bread. They ain't got no food over there, so they fighting over the food. They fighting over Roe v. Wade. They fighting over their gun rights and everything else like that. They ain't got no time to even notice that we sneaking up on their ass right now. We're gonna just roll up on their ass. But nevertheless, hey, this is a prime example of a nation ripe for taking, man. It says every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. Every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. All right, and so this is a perfect time. Like I was reiterating in a prior video, and this is a prime time for America's taking, man. And the nations are sizing America up. The nations are looking at the things that's going on here in America and ready to take her at any point in time. All right. Matter of fact, I'll grab this and close out. Second Ezra 15-14, it says, woe unto the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. Now I remember, some years back we used to bring this here out, when it was just, over the Trump and the Biden, or really just the Trump situation, Trump getting into office. All right, that was when people was all divided up over Trump getting into office. How much more when Trump left office? All right, 4 years later after that. But then how much more, in a time like now where you have the people that was rioting and uproaring over the mass protests, mass mandates, the jab mandates, the jobs and things like that. How much more over the gun laws and things like that being passed? How much more over these things, man? They're just adding more and more fuel to the fire, man. These people are all at each other's throats right about now for these different things, man. The love of many is wax cold. All right, so hey, man, America is they just waiting for them to light the fuse, man. All right, the charges are set, the gas is being poured. All they have to do is light the fuse, man. This thing's gonna go up like a powder keg, man. All right. It says, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, and they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. All right. And so, hey, going back into, like I said, when it comes to these elections and things like that, man, you already have, a scenario where they've created to where people now are going to, want to go vote, in massive numbers, all because of these topics. Like, man, we don't want these guns no more. We're going to vote for whatever. All they got to do is bring a politician and say, you know what, if I get elected, we ain't going to have no more guns. Guns going to be illegal. Then you're going to have people riding to go up there like, nah, we can't let him win because we want our guns. Then you're gonna have the other side, nah, we got to protect our children out there. Then you have another politician say, hey man, if I win, we're gonna get Roe v. Wade back in scenarios and things like that. Everything, these abortions gonna be legal again. Then you're gonna have a group of people going, we gotta have them in the office because we want to be able to go and off our kids. You're gonna have the other side, no, we don't want this in office because we don't want this going on. So now you got a perfect storm created right there, man. All right. It says a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. All right. And there's multiple different reasons where they can shut down these, travel from one city to another city, man. All right. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled and the house shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. All right. So, hey, with all this unrest that you have going on, all right, for multiple different reasons, people are going to be kind of, how do I say, afraid to travel, man. Now, we ain't going over there, man. You look at California, man. Look at New York, man. All right, with, especially in California, how they having all these home invasions, people getting robbed and things like that. These people that's more well off, all right, getting offed and everything else like that, and they just following them home. Hey, man, crime is going up into a lot of these different places, man. All right, people ain't trying to go to travel into these places like that because they don't feel so safe in these areas no more. But how much more when you have all out anarchy, all out chaos, running through the streets over all these different things, man. All right. But I'm going to go ahead and close out with that. I didn't want to make this lesson that long. But, hey, the point is, that you have all these people, this, how do I say, the perfect storm, the ingredients set for, uproars and riots of the people, and invading one another and sedition among men. And, how does it say with the it says, for the verse 16, for there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and of course their actions stand in their power. And one more thing to say on that, you think that this Joe Biden dude is so dumb and so incompetent and things like that. How do you know that that's not a ploy for people to all believe the same thing, man? And we can't, hey man, we don't listen to old Pawpaw out there. He lost and delusional, falling off bikes and shit like that. We don't give a damn about the president, the government, and none of that shit no more. We finna take it on our own. This nigga can't even ride a bike. So, hey, you getting things like this, or people like Donald Trump, oh, we don't want to listen to Donald Trump. He's racist. He this and he that. So we don't care about the government no more. You see, it's a perfect storm being created for these people to go out to all out war, man. All right, but I'm going to go ahead and close out with that. Lord willing, this series lesson was edifying unto the elect. Until next time, I say, call halal Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakak Wadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of great millstone that taught us this truth and I rule well. And salutation, much love for you, Akim, pushing this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Till next time, I say, stay strong. Shalom.